I started doing painting in the streets when I was a kid, around the age of 9, 10 years old, and it was, the very fresh early days of the 80s Miami hip-hop era that had been coming down from New York and Philadelphia. And by that time, by 1983, a lot of cities around the world had already gotten it, but it was still very fresh. It wasn't pop culture, it was still very underground. You had a lot of people telling you it wasn't art, that it didn't belong. It was always in the shadows, and it was difficult to do this as an artist, and always have somebody telling you shouldn't do it or you couldn't do it. When I'm making a piece of art, when I'm painting, I'm tapping into memories, but I'm trying to tell stories that relate to my present day. This painting is made up of many different names of artists that I'm paying homage. So that's why it's titled The Names That Live, but sometimes fade while time flies. Over the years, a lot of the artists that I'm paying homage to on this work have had an effect in my life. They were friends or partners. Some friends have passed away. And so there's a lot of stories to the names. So each name and each line represents a story of its own. So although it becomes an abstract work, there is a lot of story and very personal histories in the work. The other painting in this project is titled The Bridge. It's all writings about travels, and particularly the cities that I'm going to recently, and how New York, my home base now, has become the bridge to all of these places internationally, including Toronto now. A lot of what I wrote in that painting were stories from my travels and how they happened, who invited me, why I went, and where that led me. And I put together almost like a puzzle, points of my life that led me to important points, that led me to newer important points that sort of developed, my work, or developed my life, or connectivity to places and people. And that painting is a dedication to those kind of situations. I normally work on something that's bigger than my body, right? And you're working quite close to it. I've somehow developed a rhythm where I don't have to step back very far to understand what I need to do, where I need to move. I see it all happening. I've been saying recently that I'm like sort of a human typewriter, because I reach a point where it's like tak 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 ding, tak 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 ding, and it has this thing where it's very psychological for me now. There is a rhythm, there is a beat that I'm working with, and I think that also plays into what I'm writing. So whatever I'm thinking, whether it's a stream of consciousness thought, or whether it's something I'm copying from journals, or something I've memorized and then I'm copying from that, there's a rhythm to it. And so I'm thinking about all that. Sometimes it just goes completely free, and it becomes very sporadic, and I'm going off in so many different tangents that it's not so much about a continuous linear story, but about many stories. And that's how, I guess, dreams are, and thought is that fast anyways. You can be walking down the street and not really be thinking about something in particular, but all these thoughts are kind of coming into your mind, and the paintings are like that. And so the gesture is meant to be read more than the letters are meant to be read, or the stories are meant to be read. The way you would read the colors, or try to read the colors of a Rothko, or the lines or the drips of a Jackson Pollock. It's that type of painting, action that goes into it. And that gesture is the feeling that I'm passing on to the viewer.